Hey BDC Live, Courtney here from the Office of Student Involvement, continuing to tell stories of our students and their co-curricular experience and what they're doing outside of the classroom. So next I'm joined by Sahar from Meet Me at the Mission. Sahar, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here and be talking about Meet Me at the Mission.
Yeah, before we dive into Meet Me at the Mission, how about you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore at DePaul and I'm studying health sciences. I've been doing remote classes since we first transitioned back in spring, and I'm hoping to attend medical school once I'm finished with my undergrad degree.
Oh, nice. So what have online classes been like in health sciences? I imagine when you're on campus, that's a very hands-on
Yes.
experience.
There have been both pros and cons. The nice thing is I can watch my lectures a billion times if I'm really confused on something. So that's been nice to be able to have those really accessible. Definitely missing that hands-on experience, like you mentioned, of working in the lab and getting to experience, different kinds of labs and that kind of thing, and seeing what that is like in person. All our faculty have done such a great job of transitioning online and trying to make it to the best of our abilities. Definitely missing that in-person environment though, but it's been great. Very thankful to have had still like a really great education even in an online setting.
Oh, that's great to hear. Have you had to adapt your academic plan or what classes you were taking so that you can have those in-person labs like next year when campus reopens?
Yeah, definitely have been able have needed to adapt my schedule a bit. I was going to be taking organic chemistry this year, and I decided to hold off because I knew being in the lab would be really helpful, for future career stuff and wanting to go to medical school and having that experience. Was hoping to take some experiential learning classes and whatnot, and those have all been had to be pushed back. So that's a bit unfortunate, and I haven't been able to adjust my schedule completely. So I am doing a few different labs online right now. So adjusting and constantly, going with the flow of how things are changing and adjusting to that.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see even how like the pandemic right now affects like a person like you, like your future education, because you and you think about like all of the potential people who are doing things like going to medical school and your experience because of these 2 years around the country, not just at DePaul, right? Like students around the country, their entire experience is going to look different. So it'll be curious if we end up seeing, in a couple, well, next year, in a couple years, if those parts of the curriculum are turning for people too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been in a lot of contact with friends and whatnot who are at the medical school level and talking to them with what's that looking like right now in medical school, of how are you adjusting? And it's nothing like they expected. And, not really sure what the next few years are going to look like of when I do eventually hopefully go to medical school. But yeah, it's just really crazy to think about and constantly changing of what plans are going to look like. So,
Yeah, well, fingers crossed with the vaccine and all of the different components of our society just getting healthier and safer. You're able to get back into McGowan and back into some of these facilities. But we're here today to talk about Meet Me at the Mission. I think we could go on a tangent here for a little while, but how about for our viewers who aren't familiar with it, you tell us a little bit about what Meet Me at the Mission is.
Yeah, so Meet Me at the Mission is an invitation to all students, faculty, and community members to engage with the Vincentian mission. We know that when students arrive to DePaul, a huge part of orientation is learning about what the Vincentian mission is, who Vinny and Louise are, and that kind of thing. But after that, there isn't a lot of continuing education. So Meet Me at the Mission really aims to expose students more to the stories of Vinny and Louise and the wisdom of the Vincentian mission, to get people more involved and to be able for students and faculty and just the community to resonate with the mission more, because we know that it's so important, it's so valuable, but students and just the community aren't really finding that value in it right now because they just don't have the education surrounding the mission.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's such a great initiative to hear about, especially, for viewers of BDC Live who may be alumni.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people come to DePaul to experience that mission, or they learn about it while they're here and they want to live it. So I think learning about something like Meet Me at the Mission and people knowing that it's a resource for them when they're not a student is just a great opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, I think DePaul is super unique of not only being the largest Catholic university in the country, but being the largest Vincentian university. And it just offers so much different value of, why DePaul is different and, what is different about DePaul and the student body and the faculty. And it is that common thread of, having those Vincentian values. And as an alum or as a student or wherever you are at DePaul, I think that you can absolutely find value in the mission and apply it to your life and see the beauty in it.
Mm-hmm. So, Sahar, could you tell me a little bit about what the pivots looked like, from the in-person experiences of Meet Me at the Mission to an online virtual environment?
Yeah, before we had moved into an online virtual environment, we had such great momentum on campus of having really great events and getting people to turn out and creating really, really meaningful and beautiful spaces. And having to adjust to that in this new virtual setting has been difficult. But really, our focus has been continuing to create spaces for students to connect and to build community in meaningful ways. And also, what's been really important in all of our programming has been creating spaces and resources for holistic care. Knowing this pandemic has been extremely difficult and challenging for everyone, giving those resources of how to take care of yourselves, how to take care of your family, your friends, your relationships, all of that during this time has been something that we're really trying to focus on and trying to implement in all of our programming.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. Before we started our session here, you were telling me that you all have had a couple successes. I'm curious if you can share some of those stories with our viewers today.
Yeah, so definitely have had some really great things come out of shifting into an online virtual format. One of them being the Ozanam Cafe, and it was an initiative that started spring quarter when we first transitioned online. And so really the inspiration behind it was this Vincentian figure, Frederick Ozanam. And back in France in the 1800s, Frederick Ozanam and his friends had created just like a group of people to meet at a cafe every weekend and just discuss the world's problems and talk about how they're responding to the world and what they're doing. And we really wanted to channel that inspiration. And it was a vision that we didn't really think about was going to happen online, but it's really come to fruition of every Thursday, just a group of students. It's completely student-led, and we gather and we talk about what is happening and what is our role as students and how are we going to respond and what's on our mind, what's bothering us. And so that has just been something super beautiful that has come out of this virtual format to create the space for students to just be in community with others and have really important conversations. So that's been really great. And then another great thing about this virtual format that's been kind of nice is we've been able to connect with Vincentian family members from all over the country. We've had a couple of different Vincentian family chats is what we like to call it. And we've gotten daughters of charity from 6 different states on the call with us and just sharing their wisdom and their knowledge because they are so knowledgeable, have so much to share, and getting students the opportunity to meet with the daughters is not something that really could have happened beforehand unless you were, doing a service immersion or that kind of thing. So bringing the daughters to the students has been something really, really great that's come out of it. And the students walk away with this new sense of peace and just wisdom from the daughters. So those are a few of the successes that we've had in addition to many others. But it's been challenging, but also it has been a really great call towards creativity during this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think more than anything, I just appreciate the pivot, especially when it comes to the mission. And I love the concept of the Ozanam Cafe because our students, what I hear all the time, our students are just looking for those means to connect, yes, we all know it's a lot of screen time, but they're still looking for places to be able to go and talk about things going on in the world, right? Like in things going on in Chicago and all these different places. So, kudos to you and the Meet Me at the Mission team for continuing to provide those spaces.
Yeah, no, it's been really great, and we can see students benefiting from them. We walk away from the space and students come in feeling a little down and a little upset, and then we walk away with this newfound sense of friendship. And there really have been times where we're in the Ozanam Cafe and it feels like we're in person again, and the laughs that we're having and the jokes and all of that it feels like we were at a table together discussing, and it's really, really special and something that a lot of students are not getting during this time. And for those who it is reaching, they're greatly benefiting from it. I'm benefiting from it, and I'm the one hosting it. But every week it's something that I look forward to. And it just always, reignites the sense of just purpose in my life.
That's great. Well, Sahar, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Can people follow along to find out more about Meet Me at the Mission?
Yes, you can absolutely follow us on both our Facebook and Instagram accounts at MMATM DePaul. We have Monday trivia. We have Tuesday journaling prompts that are geared towards spirituality. And we have interviews with alum, current students to talk about the mission. So there's a lot of great programming that we're doing to continue that outreach of the mission. So I would definitely encourage to check out our social media channels just to see more of that mission in action.
Wonderful. Well, Sahar, thanks again for taking the time to join us today. To our BDC Live viewers, keep tuning in throughout the day. We're here, as you probably know, for a whole 24 hours. So we've got lots of student stories that we're going to be featuring, like Sahar and some of her colleagues and peers. But until next time, we hope you all stay safe. Bye-bye, Blue Demons.